order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Acom?
Here.
Mrs. Schneider?
Here.
Mrs. Click?
Here.
Mrs. Mahalis? Mr. Sobolski?
Here.
Moved.
Mr. Sobolski?
Yes.
Mrs. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Acom?
Yes.
Mrs. Click?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahalis?
I do, thank you. So I know it's summer, and I'm not supposed to have official report in July. However, it's been a busy summer, and there's a couple things I just wanted to bring your attention, and they're at the top of your packets, just to make sure we highlight those as we go into this meeting. So the first one is the salary study memorandum that I put in there for the packet, for the board to take a look at, and sent in the last weekend update. Superintendent update. And really, I just wanted to give the board a summary of where we stand after all of this hiring and transition that we've had, which still continues. We're still trying to wrap up the last couple positions. But after all of the hiring, you can see that, we had, roughly 30-some positions, although only some of those were new. The cost of the former staff, and that's with benefits, Mr. Volleson and Mr. Schiraldi helped me with this, was roughly $2 million. And then you can see the cost of the new hires, who are highly qualified, very excited about these candidates, just happen to be less experienced. That was part of what we were looking for. So including severance, that's about $1.5 million. So, year one in this fiscal year, obviously, it's muted a little bit because we have to pay out severance. However, if you look at the long term, with the hires and those two positions of attrition, if we're able to maintain that, you're looking at roughly a savings of about $1 million per year in salary and benefits, working towards that goal of reducing our, percentage of our budget on personnel costs. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And obviously, the board knows we have some provisions in the contract with AEA and potential retiree hires and some of those moves for next year. So thought that was important to bring to the board's attention now that we've mostly completed hiring for this year. Yep. Yes, I think it will. Although I did put in there 5-year forecast. I don't know if we're going to have 5-year forecasts anymore, or maybe 3-year forecast with the changing landscape down at ODU, but I'm sure Mr. Schiraldi will tell us all about that soon enough. Moving on, the other one, this is an old agenda item, but obviously this is something that's up for the board's vote tonight, so just want to bring our attention back to the pay to participate recommendation. So this was studied for a number of months by Athletic Council, and with the recommendation for the first time in 18 years since the institution of pay to participate, to actually raise this cost. We've really tried not to, and I think we've done a great job with that. But the problem is everything's more expensive, from just the equipment and supplies, transportation, referees. I mean, as you know, the costs go up. I mean, just a little crate of 12 baseballs, it's insane how much you're paying for that. So we studied it. What we try to do with the pay to participate is simply cover our cost with the non-personnel portion of athletics. That's it. That's what we're trying to cover there with the pay to participate. We have not been able to do that recently, with costs, with added sports such as boys and girls lacrosse. So we were off quite a bit this past year. So with the threshold of trying to cover 100% of the costs, if we raised high school from 100 to 200, Harmon from 50 to 100, with a family cap of 500, that should, based on Bill and mine's estimation, we hope keep us at that threshold, and then we'll sort of have to study that on an annual basis. Obviously, if we don't need to raise it, if that covers moving forward, we can do that. But hopefully, this move will take care of that. And just wanted to make sure that I provided that rationale to the board and see if there were any questions, or obviously, when the vote comes up, I can take those as well.
Are you suggesting that there may be, in the future, more frequent recommendations for increases?
I hope not, but at the same point in time, I can't really tell the future. And with rising costs, or if there are more sports, then that could potentially happen, and I do think it needs to be reevaluated. You know, as the board knows, we cannot go beyond that 0.5 of 1% of our budget on athletics. So if the costs continue to rise and we do have, additional sports, yeah, it could be something that isn't a need in the future.
I'm assuming that this has already been kind of communicated to the families, to expect this increase for this upcoming school year.
Well, that's something that we're going to have to do with that. They're waiting for approval.
But the good news is this money's put in fees, so it's not like, that's where the question now is.
Athletes can't participate. They can participate, and this is added to fees if they participate, and then they can pay that, when they pay their fees. That's it for now. For now, yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Mahalis. My final financial report. And this evening, I have 3 resolutions for your consideration, and we'll start with financial report for the end of June of 2025, which is obviously the end of fiscal year 2025. And in June, our expenditures exceeded revenues by about $3.1 million, decreasing our general fund cash balance to $14.6 million at the end of the year. Revenues were about 68% greater than projected, and expenditures about 14% greater. Things on the revenue side, on restricted grants and aid, we did get our special education catastrophic aid reimbursement. This year we got $293,000, so significantly higher than what we've received in the last 5 years, as you can see listed there. Last year, we only received $169,000. So typically on catastrophic aid reimbursement, it's kind of an after-the-fact appropriation at the state level. And so as things come in throughout the districts, it's kind of divided out then based upon how many special ed kids or what the costs are per district, and depending on the total appropriation, they divvy it out, appropriately. So in this particular case, again, it's the largest we've received in the last 5 years. Also, in the restricted grants and aid, we received $240,598. That's the reimbursement payment of the Science of Reading Dyslexia stipend. Of this amount, $214,000 was salaries, and the remaining $26,000 was STRS and Medicare. So, but because of this, these were personnel expenses. So really, our personnel expenses just from this grant are going to be overstated for this year, and as will our revenues. So we were, from the state, this is how we had to receipt it in, so we couldn't spend the money and then reduce the, do a reduction of expenditure to kind of balance it out. They wanted it to go through as a restricted revenue, and then also then as a charge to whether it be salaries and or retirement Medicare. So those would be overstated, so it kind of makes our personnel costs higher than what they normally would be for this year. All other revenues also includes $200,895, and this is the City of Aurora shared income tax credit on the abated properties. Again, higher than last year, which was about $175,000. So it's kind of been going up annually, maybe $20,000, $25,000 a year, based upon what's going on with those particular businesses. So what it is, it's a split income tax on wages over $1 million. So if they bring in a new company or a company that is abated, has new wages that they've added folks, once they get over $1 million, the income tax is split between the school district and the city, and that's per revised code. So for the year, revenues are about $400,000 greater than projected, again, mainly as a result of that science and reading dyslexia stipend. And expenditures are about $1.4 million greater. So we had a big unfavorable variance this year of about $1 million in the general fund, giving us that cash balance of $14.6 million. The two areas where you're going to see this are personnel services, about $469,000. So of that, obviously, we'd already talked about $204,000, which was that stipend. And the other is, with the larger number of those folks retiring this year, we had over $200,000 in payouts for those people in June. Because typically what happens is they retire, we'll pay off their July and August salaries in June, so at the end of the fiscal year. So with 13 retirees and a couple also classified folks, that increased about $230,000 in that particular category. And when the projections are based upon the forecast in November. So I don't really change, I mean, though I keep updating the forecast as we go along, I kind of still compare what everything was to that November forecast. And that's why you'll see a larger variance. So we kind of knew it was coming, but it just kind of shows you that sometimes things come up during the year that maybe you didn't anticipate at the beginning of the year. And then also severance, which will be larger for fiscal year 26, which we know, but we also had a couple of severance payouts in the middle of the year last year, as a couple teachers retired mid-year. So they didn't finish the school year, so their severance has already been paid out. Again,